Welcome back to The Last of Us Part 2. Alright, we're surprisingly walking a bit slower than usual, which makes me think something is about to happen. We also just freed up a bunch of people. Prisoners, in fact. She's not doing great. Ellie is not doing great. She should go back. She's gonna pause. Oh, yeah, there's all the gunfire. They did take a bunch of guns with them when they left. These dudes suck. It's almost like they're getting what they deserve. Fuck indeed. Oh, jeez, that didn't take long. Let's just stay away from them, shall we? Fuck. Well, we knew barely anything about the Rattlers, and it seems it'll stay that way. Not that there was much to know about them to begin with. They like their snakes and their skulls. They act like tough guys. They take people as prisoners to use for manual labor. Not much to like about them. And they do this as well. So they suck. Saying they suck dick is quite the understatement.
Abby?
Are these the pillars you're talking about? What the? Yeah, she is. Recognizable braid. What about Lev? They're moving. These people are still alive. I mean, that looks like her, doesn't it? That straight up looks like Abby because they have the same braid. Horrible. Maybe it wasn't her. Someone who looks like her. It's awful. And this poor person is moving. We should cut them down. Oh shit, that's her. They cut your hair?
It's you.
I think she's lost some of her muscle.
Abby. I got you. I got you. They're both this way.
You still want to fight her, Abby? You still want to kill her? There's no honor in beating and or killing someone who's already on their deathbed. Like, what's the point? What's the point, Ellie? Same goes for you, Abby. All the way around. Oh, it's like the starting menu of the game.
I can't let you leave. I'm not doing this. No. I'm not gonna fight you. Yes, you will. He's not a part of this. You made him a part of this. Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh. What is the point anymore for either of you? She's blocking all my hits. Okay, she's starting to combo now, so... I think she lost a finger.
Go. Just take him.
After all that, huh? Guess she's 2 fingers short now. What was the point? I'm glad she didn't take out Abby. I am. In a weird way, I am happy about it because I feel. I don't know what I feel. I don't know. I feel like it would have been the last straw for Ellie if she did kill Abby. Like it would have been the point of no return for Ellie. It's empty. I mean, she could just be back at Jackson. I hope she went back to Jackson. Dina and the baby. Everything's gone. Or was there anything ever here to begin with? No, their stuff is still here. Good, it wasn't just a weird fever dream.
drinking?
Coffee.
Where'd you get that?
Those people that came through last week.
Oh.
A little embarrassed as to what I had to trade to get it, but it's not bad.
I had Seth under control.
Yeah, I know.
And you need to stop harassing Jesse about my patrols.
Okay. Dina. Is she your girlfriend?
No. No, that was just one kiss. It doesn't mean anything. I don't know why she did that.
But you do like her.
So stupid.
Look, I have no idea what that girl's intentions are, but I do know that she would be lucky to have you.
You're such an asshole.
I'm not trying to.
I was supposed to die in that hospital. My life would have fucking mattered. But you took that from me.
If somehow the Lord gave me a second chance at that moment, I would do it all over again.
Yeah. I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. But I would like to try.
I like that.
Okay. I'll see you around.
Yep.
That's very bittersweet, isn't it? Oh goodness, that was a very long game. Sad to see it end. It was a lot of fun. Oh my goodness. Ah, a lot of feels back then. That makes a lot of sense though. So I always wondered in the back of my mind why Ellie wanted to avenge Joel so badly, even though he hurt her so badly. And in the back of my mind, I just figured she still cared. And I guess in a way she does still care. But she wanted to forgive Joel in the end for what he did, and she wanted to have that relationship again. She wanted to make up for it. She wanted to try. And I guess Abby took that away, took that opportunity away from Ellie, which makes so much more sense now. There's a lot to it, so that was very sweet. It's so sad though, seeing that and then knowing that he's killed. He's killed like the next day. And oh man. Oh, that was a brilliant game. I hope Ellie is going back to Jackson and she's finding Dina and the baby and she's gonna live a nice peaceful life, try to live a nice peaceful life again and just forget about it. But oh my gosh. There's so much hate and so much death in this game. It's just such an unbelievably vicious cycle that Abby and Ellie got themselves into, and look where it ended up, huh? I guess Abby and Lev, if they are okay, are joining the Fireflies, huh? I guess the Fireflies are back. All right, friends. As usual, as per tradition, I love talking about the game and what I thought about it, things I liked, maybe things that could have been worked on. So why don't we get to that? I actually wrote up a lot of stuff here. I probably won't even get to talk about everything I want to talk about, but we'll touch on the main points here, and I will try my best to articulate myself well enough and to try to get my point across. Why don't I put down the control? How do I put down the control? Okay. So why don't we start with the easy stuff? Because I know that there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk around this game, and lots of people have very strong opinions about this game, and that's totally okay. That's more than fine, and I think those opinions are very much validated after I have played the game for myself and seen it for myself. But we will get into the more complicated bits in a minute. So let's start with the easy stuff. So obviously, the game is super pretty. It's an incredibly pretty and beautiful game. And I love the exploration, and it's just unbelievably cool. Like seeing all the nature and like all like the snow and the foliage and just like the way things just move in the wind is unbelievable. It's such a beautiful game, and the lighting's so cool, and there's so many like volumetrics and cool little details to it. It's unbelievable how pretty it is, and I really love all like the little details they put into it too, like how they have like the dirt under their nails or the rips in their shirts and things like that, and it's awesome. I love the little things. And the cinematics are awesome. I've already said this already, but when the game transitions from gameplay to cinematics, it's done really smooth that I sometimes forget, oh shit, the cinematics done, I need to play. So that was really cool. I really like that. Oh, what else? The music. I always thought that the music for this game was really simple, and I like that because I'm very much a simple is more kind of person. I really like and kind of live by that saying. And the music is done so well that it always like really fits the mood, but at the same time the way it builds up when things get intense or suspenseful is so damn cool. So I really, really, really like the music. And probably my favorite thing about this game is the battle system. The battle system in this game and in the first game is probably my favorite in gaming, like out of all the games I've ever played ever. So it is just so much fun, and it's so appealing, and it's got a huge replayability. It's so flexible. I love that you can mix and match your tactics. Like, if you're more of a run and gun type person, you've got lots of guns in your arsenal that you could use, and you can put down explosives. Or if you prefer stealth, like you can go prone now. Like prone was a new thing, and you could hide in the grass or in the ferns. Going prone was so freaking cool. By the way, I had a lot of fun with that. So the stealth elements, like they took, like the battle system from the first game I thought was already amazing. And then in the second game, they just tweaked it a little bit and then added lots of really cool elements to it, which I'm a huge fan of. So absolutely love the battle system. And the level design too is so much better as well. There's lots of little nooks and crannies to hide into. I love that you can go prone and like hide underneath like trucks and cars, or like underneath like the trains and things like that. That's really, really cool level design. And yeah, it's awesome because you can use the environment to your advantage too. Like you can keep moving around and hiding behind things. That's really freaking cool. So awesome. Absolutely love it. And what else? The enemies. Enemies are even better in this game too. I love that there was different kinds of like human enemies now, because before it was just the hunters, right? In this game you've got two different kinds. You got WLF, you got Seraphites. Oh, and then of course you had the dumbass Rattler people. And it's cool that their tactics are a little bit different, whereas like WLF is more kind of run and gun. Seraphites are a bit more sneaky and stealthy. So it's like, oh, you gotta change up your tactics a little bit when you come across them, which I really liked. And they even introduced some more infected types too. Like I really like the Stalkers. Like the introduction of the Stalkers was really, really well done. And I love also how they introduced all the different types of infected too. Like the cinematics are so cool. Like the first time you see the Stalkers, Clickers, and Bloaters, and I guess that big boss that Abby fought was really, really freaking cool. And the Shamblers, oh yeah, I forgot about Shamblers. I forgot they were a thing. Shamblers were alright. I think I prefer the Stalkers over the Shamblers a bit more. They're a bit out of place, slightly, but that's alright. I don't mind. I still like really enjoyed fighting them anyway, but yeah. Really enjoyed the enemies. And funnily enough, we didn't fight that many bloaters, did we? I think Abby fought one bloater. Ellie fought at least one. Yeah, I think there's so many bloaters in that, and that's okay. But I love that they made the bloaters harder though. Like they're definitely more boss-like. It's really cool. What I will say though, with the enemies, I did feel that there were more human encounters than zombie encounters. And I personally thought that the zombies were just a little bit neglected. So I would have liked there to be more zombie fights. That's all. Okay. So I think that's like the main stuff I really wanted to touch on. So now the more complicated stuff, and this is where things are gonna get interesting. So where should I start? So obviously with The Last of Us Part 2, we the players had certain expectations of what we thought Part 2 was going to be. And I think that main expectation that we all had, which I think is fair to say that we all had, was that we thought that Part 2 was going to be the continuation storyline of Ellie and Joel. I think that's a really fair thing to say, that the players assumed that Part 2 would be the continuation of Ellie and Joel. It was. For the most part, it was. Unfortunately, we don't get to play as Joel in this game. And in fact, we do play as Joel for a very small period of time, for a couple of minutes. At the start of the game, you play as Joel. You just go on a nice, cool horse ride and see Jackson, which is nice and pretty. Then you play as Ellie. You never play as Joel again after that. And then all of a sudden, it introduces a completely new character and her group, which is Abby and the WLF. So the issue with that, the first issue with that is you don't get to play as Joel, which I was really, really disappointed with. I was really hoping that we got to play as both Ellie and Joel, like maybe it would be 50-50 between Ellie and Joel. And so on top of not being able to play as Joel, which really sucked, you're then playing half the game as a completely different character, which is really unexpected. So already that makes me feel, not sure what the right word is. It's just a bit disappointing that we didn't get to see more of Ellie and more of Joel. And the other thing, hang on, let me refer to the notes here to make sure I say what I need to say. Okay. The other part that I had that I wasn't really happy with, it was to do with Abby's plot. Now, before I go into this, what I will say is when you stand back and you look at Ellie's story and you look at Abby's story separately, when you look at them separately, it's good. Their stories are actually pretty good. But when you look at them as a whole, like as together in this game and how it was laid out in this game, the word I would describe is messy. It was very messy. And what I mean by that is you're going back and forth between playing these two a lot. So at the start of the game, you're playing as Ellie, then it swaps to Abby and back to Ellie a few times. And then you're playing as Ellie for a few hours, you're then playing as Abby for a few hours, and then it starts swapping back between the two again. On top of that, you're also playing through memories as both the characters, and then it also goes back in time when you start Abby's story. Did that make any sense? And it's very messy. I find that layout was really messy. And I almost feel that it would have been better to play as one character first, like play as Ellie first, play throughout her entire plot line first. Once you finish her part of the story, then maybe you unlock like Abby's part of the story, and then you can play as Abby. And then that adds more to like the story with like Ellie and the WLF and all that. And that's a really good filler. So maybe Abby's part could have been like the second part of the story altogether, or like a DLC to the game. That's just what I feel. So yes, it was a bit messy. It was not too hard to follow, at least. It did get a little bit confusing. One other thing I really don't like when games do, and unfortunately this game did do it, with Abby's story. Hang on, the volume's really loud. With Abby's story, how do I say this? In Abby's story, her plot was dictated a lot by luck. And I really don't like that. What I mean by that is in order for her story to progress, she got lucky. So it happened a lot on her story. So her being saved by Joel and Tommy and even finding them to begin with was extremely lucky. She was hanged by Seraphites. She just so happened to come across two other Seraphites who denounced their faith and somehow decided to save her, even though they've been at war with each other for years and years and years. When she was squaring off with Tommy, Tommy had the upper hand on her, and all of a sudden Yara appears out of nowhere to help him out. There was another bit. There was a few more. I can't think of it from the top of my head, but there was a lot of moments like that where Abby got lucky. Oh yeah, like her finding Manny was another example. And she got super lucky all the time. And then when you look at Ellie's side of the story, it was the opposite. She constantly had bad luck. She was always getting mobbed by like Seraphites or the WLF. She accidentally breaks her mask and makes a bunch of noise alerting the Horde. And when you get a lot of bad luck like that, and she perseveres through it and she toughens it out, it shows a lot of character, right? That's really good character development, that even though the shit hits the fan, she still survives. She still somehow gets through it. And then with Abby, she just gets shit handed to her all the time. And it's like, that's not good at building character. And it, to be honest, it just makes her lucky, and it kind of makes me resent the character too. And I think that's a really big problem I had with the plot on Abby's side, is that she got super lucky all the time. Oh, is that Joel singing in the background? Okay, I think those were the main problems. I'm not going to rip on the game for glitches because they can fix that later. That's totally fine. But I think those are the main problems I had with the game. So yeah, I think that was it. I'm trying to remember. Did I say everything I need to? I think I did. Other than that, I still had a really, really good time with this game. I still had a lot of fun. And I will say again that Abby's plot and Ellie's plot, when you look at them separately, they're good by themselves. But as it's been presented in this game, it's just a big hot mess. It's kind of messy. That's all. And I think another thing what they also could have done, I've actually been thinking about this, is if they were to make a sequel, like another sequel for The Last of Us, and they wanted to like start a game with like new characters or a new place. Oh, it's different now. Oh, new game unlocked. Play through the game again with all the upgrades and equipment obtained from the previous playthrough. Sure. Okay, we'll leave it there. Jeffrey, what I had to do. Oh shit, what was I saying? I already forgot what was I saying. Oh, if they were to make a sequel of the game, I reckon what they could have done is they could have had Abby's story as a whole new game in itself, and then maybe have the option to like play as one of the Seraphites too. So like what they tried to do here with The Last of Us 2, where they had like the two stories intertwining. What I reckon they could have done is they could have had Abby's story plus a Seraphite story, like Lev, for example, and then you intertwine those stories together. And I think that would have been a really good idea, like having to play as Abby, who's like with a WLF, and then who's helping out Owen and wants to rejoin the Fireflies, and then you have Lev, like you can play as Lev, who's being denounced by like his own cult, who's transgender, and he wants to try and get as far away from them as possible, and then he joins up with Abby. Like that would be a really cool game in itself. It was just about those two. I think that would have worked out a lot better as a sequel, because unfortunately, you know, we wanted Ellie and Joel, and instead we got Ellie and Abby. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I think a lot of, I guess some of the frustrations were that we had these expectations of what we thought The Last of Us 2 would be, and we got something different. We did get something very different, but like I said, I still had a really, really, really good time playing this game, and it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time playing it, so it's still really, really good. Okay, I think I've said everything I want to say. I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say about it. I know you guys like posting some pretty like thoughtful comments, so I will be taking a look to see what you guys thought about the game. But yeah, I still had a pretty good time, so hopefully someone out there understood what I had to say just then, but I think we're okay to stop it here for now, guys. So that is the end of The Last of Us Part 2. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I really appreciate the support. I'm on a few different social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.